Hello everyone. So I've been procrastinating for a while to make this video, and so um, it's probably going to be short, and I'm in my bathroom because it's really not a good time, but I feel like God's putting everything else on hold until I start doing this. And so I'm Chelsea, and I've been following Jesus for since 2021, I think. And before that, I was into the New Age pretty heavily. I still sought after Jesus, but I was convinced like it's a different Jesus. And that led me into a lot of deceit and a lot of confusion and a lot of um, spiritual doors being open that are would be better not, that were not good. And so that's actually the first thing that I want to talk about. I feel like God's just asking me to just start conversations because a lot of people are going into these places of ayahuasca and psychedelics and New Age and witchcraft, and people that even love Jesus and maybe even believe in the Bible, but they're totally missing that like this stuff is expressly forbidden. It's not like in between the lines. There's no middle ground. Like this stuff is expressly forbidden. Um, and so I just want to talk a little bit about my experience. And my hope is, and what I think God kind of wants for me is to just kind of turn YouTube into sort of social media. I know I've been alone a lot, trying to recover from all of that. And it would have been really helpful for me to hear more videos and to have community around um, breaking down those strongholds and then also being delivered from all of those demons. So I just want to start sharing my experience and making maybe just short videos about what that was like and what it was like to come out of it. That way, yeah, I can just provide support and probably even get support for myself because I'm still not out of the woods. You know, a lot of it's healed. A lot of it is better and gone, and there's been victory over so much, but that was not good. That was not a good experience. And there was a lot of lies that got in and a lot of access that was given that has caused immense torment in my life, like unimaginable torment. And besides the ayahuasca, I heard someone say the other day that witchcraft can just really allow for a lot of mental torment and like intrusive thoughts. And that's what happened to me. Was just like I could not control my thinking. It was horrible. I have been constantly tormented since 2020. So, yeah, I don't know if I want to share a lot other than my really bad experience really started, it like ended at least, and at the end of 2020, and it was with LSD. Um, but I don't feel like it was the LSD that did it. I feel like I pushed myself. Actually, I kind of think the Holy Spirit had me just push myself over the edge because I just wasn't going to be convinced that there was anything wrong with what I was doing until it was like way too late. And then I was like, oh, what did I do? Because I was saved within a year, and then it started to get better, and I started to see what was wrong with not just what I was doing, but the messages that were coming through that I should have had a lot more discernment about. But the reason that I want to mostly address ayahuasca, even though it was acid that set it off, I guess, like made it really, but like flipped a switch. There was already this thing kind of floating around. It was almost the system that like was trying to come in, and I could keep it at bay. But once I took acid, and I had taken a cocktail, it flipped it on where I couldn't turn it off. It was everywhere I looked. It was all of my experience was consumed. But to go back, I really didn't start to see this until I started doing ayahuasca and started putting myself around these people and seeing these spirits, demons that were very suggestive and like really subtle ways. And the other day someone said gaslighting spirits, and that's what would happen is I would be like guilted into believing these things that I knew weren't true. So yeah, I think as my first video, I just want to put out a warning. Like I I wouldn't have been convinced. I was going to do what I wanted to do, but maybe there's someone more discerning out there, or, you know, people that have already unfortunately had the experience that, that need support out there. But maybe I can prevent people from doing these things because, I'll do more in-depth videos. I just want to put something out there because God's like, you're not getting anywhere until you do this. And I want it to be perfect, or I want to know where I'm going. And the Holy Spirit's just like, nope, sorry, that's not how this is going to work. Like, I need to just start talking. So I'm sure this is a lot of rambling, but that's honestly kind of who I am. I'm a female and we ramble. So the Holy Spirit just he was not giving me like a template to go off of and how to talk about these things. So anyways, yeah, this is my warning about ayahuasca, mostly. Like I said, I did witchcraft on these other things, but whenever I did that and went into those rooms, I don't even know that I can fully explain. I'm sure I'll get better at it, and then I'll probably be really healing for me to explain what would happen. But this very sinister faces and sinister suggestions started to come in that they just didn't in other places. Like I definitely like opened doors, like, and I started to see things that were very scary that should have scared me that didn't. Like I was like slowly agreeing to these things that were very demonic. So if you need support, like I'm here. If you need someone to talk to because you've already been through this, or you're thinking about doing it and you want to talk to someone, I don't know how you could contact me, but comment on the video and we'll figure something out. I just really hope I can offer some support and maybe warnings to people so they don't have to deal with what I've had to deal with to get out of it, because it's been absolute hell. It's been 5 years of absolute hell trying to dig my way out of a very deep hole I created for myself. But I am grateful for the experience because I know a lot of people are desiring to do this, even Christians, and they have no idea that you're just signing up for witchcraft. Like, a lot of people do things like mushrooms and stuff when they're teenagers, and I've had a lot of really demonic experiences with that too. But when you go into an ayahuasca ceremony, not only is it not a plant that just like grows, it's couple plants that had to be very specifically cooked. Like, this came from fallen angels. There's no, from star people, from the plants themselves, there's no denying that this is a fallen technology from heaven that was not meant for us. It's not just like it grows, because like I was saying, like plenty of people have experiences with mushrooms and things where I don't know that there's that big of a deal. If you don't keep doing it, if you don't invite things in, if you have some discernment, especially if you're a Christian and you have spiritual covering, then maybe it's not that big of a deal. But with ayahuasca in particular, there's such a religion and such a system, and I'm trying to think of the words. There's so many like solid spiritual agreements. They have been built over thousands of years that you're coming into when you do ayahuasca. So that's mainly what I want to warn against. Especially if you're doing it in ceremony, they are calling in all kinds of spirits, and they are saying they're calling in protection. They can't protect you because they're literally calling in the enemy, first of all. And second of all, most of them are not even trying to walk with Jesus or the Holy Spirit. They don't, they try to avoid that, or at least they make it really confusing, like also calling in Lucifer. I just heard that the other day. Somebody was in a ceremony and they were calling in all the angels, but it was in Spanish. And then they called in Lucifer, and it took them several ceremonies before they realized, like, are you calling in Lucifer? And they were like, yeah. And I saw Satan twice while I was doing all these things, and I was like, yeah, totally, like, it's fine. It's complete insanity to me now. Complete insanity. But I just didn't, I think that's the problem when you don't grow up with, not just, I grew up in church and around Christianity, but I didn't really understand. People are, all we have is like live a clean life and you'll be okay. And like, we need so much more information than that. So anyways, I want to cut this off because I want it to be short. I'm glad I had more to say than I planned on. And I know the sound is terrible. It won't always be this way, but anyways, I hope everyone has a blessed day. And yeah, I look forward to connecting with anyone that needs help, or that is wondering about these types of subjects. So God bless. Bye.